Hey guys, Sex Pizza here. I've been playing a lot of Path of Exile recently, and it's been a while since I've made and uploaded a video, and I've been really um, itching to start doing it again. And so I've decided, since I've been playing so much Path of Exile recently, as you can see from my character list, that I decided I would start uploading and playing some more Path of Exile games. So, Path of Exile, for what anyone may or may not know, is it's kind of like a Diablo 2. A lot of the people who worked on Diablo 2 also worked on this. It's by Grinding Gear Games. It's a fantastic loot-based game. It's really enjoyable. At least I think it is, and most of the other people in the community do as well. I've been playing recently. I got into this league called the Invasion League, and what it is when you create a character, for example, I'll show you here. You go to League, and they have different types of leagues you can join. Obviously, there's the standard, which you can also opt into hardcore, which is what I do. When a hardcore character dies, they go into the standard league. And based on the league that you choose, you hop down the line every time you die until you end up in normal standard, where you can die as much as you want, and there's basically no repercussions for such. I myself have recently got into playing in the Invasion League. It's extremely fun. It adds an extra layer of difficulty to the game because you're fighting bosses from other places in the world, which obviously you're not always equipped to deal with. So it's quite difficult. But anyways, that's what that is. I'm gonna be playing my level 10 witch. It's the most recent one I've been working on that I'm not currently like playing with someone else. My the Siegbarst here is my tanky melee guy, and I've just recently played him last night. I made him last night and started playing him, and I made him to play with a friend of mine who I just got back into playing with. So we're gonna hop right on to Hexen Beast, and my character names also, in case you noticed. I'm a huge fan of the show Grimm, and I've been really getting into that lately, so that's where most of my character names are coming from recently. Alright, we're going to warp right to the ledge. Um, the ledge is probably my favorite place in Act 1 of the game, because I'm not sure which direction I have to go to get to the next area, but who knows. Actually, I'm going to warp back real quick because I'm getting some huge frame drops here, and then I'm going to fix that problem, and I will be right back. Alright guys, we're back. I think I fixed the frame problem. I just decided to record in half size, and that seems to have done it and fixed it. But anyways, the ledge is probably my favorite place to run. It's basically a straight line along a cliff face with lots of monsters. Makes it relatively easy to... Why are all those skeletons dead? Oh shit. That guy does not look very nice. Anyways, my plan for this character, the witch, the Hexen Beast, is I want to have her be a fireball witch and literally just cast fireball. Maybe have another skill just in case I run into Ow, someone with like fire immunity in the higher difficulties or the later acts of the game. What does this guy have, anyways? He's got quick, extra life, gains endurance, frenzy, and power charges, rolls over enemies, resists elemental, and chaos. So he's gonna take out Ow, little time to damage. Luckily, Ow, I think I'm a little bit ahead of this guy in levels, so it shouldn't be too hard to kill him. My god, that's gotta be annoying for low levels. Well, I am a low level, but levels lower than are supposed to fight him. Now, the way that the item rarity in this game works is Your grays are your normals. Blues are your uncommons, and yellows, yeah, like that, are your rares. Uh, Rares are awesome. Now, the currency in this game isn't gold, it's orbs. They're like things you use to enchant items. I think they handled it really well in terms of that. So when you sell these things, you get uh, this right here, shards. And when you get enough shards, it forms an orb. And the orb does certain things. Like this one upgrades a normal item into a magic item. There's tons and tons of different orbs. I couldn't even list them all off the top of my head, but there's orbs for pretty much everything. Randomizing the numbers on your weapon, or item, whatever it is, if it's a weapon or armor or whatever. Disenchanting it so it becomes a normal. Turning it into a rare. There's the one that's the Orb of Chance. It could be any kind of rarity. It has a percentage base when you use it on an item to turn it into certain kinds of specialties, you know. Rare, uncommon, legendary, shit like that. I'm not actually sure if it has a percentage to turn things into legendaries. I looked it up once. I think it was like 1% or something. So it's pretty uncommon for that to happen. But for me, the thing that I really enjoy about this game is not so much the story, but the replayability. Like, your first few times through, the story is actually pretty awesome, but because it's similar to the Diablo franchise in that when you beat it on a certain difficulty, you rerun it until you hit max level. And as if memory serves, as long as they haven't changed anything too drastically since the last time I was really into this game, was there are 3 acts currently. Although I could be wrong about that. They may have added more since I had a hiatus from playing this for a little while. But it has 3 acts, and each time you pass through all 3 acts, you go back to the first act on a higher difficulty. And the higher difficulty adds more modifiers to the creatures you'll encounter, more health. They'll have different attributes associated with them. Resists fire, resists chaos, reflects elemental damage. That will make it quite difficult for my witch when I run into monsters with that modifier. And then when you finally hit level cap, there are these maps that will drop for you. And these maps have a rarity, much like every other item, but when you use them, you activate them at a specific location, and it opens up a side area, basically, that you can't normally get to, and it loads you into like a place. For example, if I got a map for the ledge, I would go to this specific place where you go to activate maps, and you would activate it and it would take you to the ledge, but the map would have a whole bunch of modifiers on it that say monsters in this thing have 200% extra life, deal 150% extra damage, things like that. And they make it extremely difficult, but the benefit is you'll get a percentage-based increased drops and a percentage-based increased rarity of drops, which increases the likelihood of you getting badass shit. So I myself I'm really looking forward to getting that, and recently I have found out that they kind of give you a taste of the end game content fairly early on now. When you enter certain locations, like the ledge, for example, which is where I am now, you can sometimes, because each time you load in here, the map is a little bit different. It's randomly generated, it's repopulated with monsters, etc., etc. And sometimes you'll run into one of these right here. Except instead of it taking you to a normal place on the map, it'll be corrupted by this energy they call the Vaal in this game, V-A-L-L. And it'll have modifiers much like the maps I was previously describing have, and those modifiers will affect that new side area. And basically you get a taste of what it's like to activate and use a map and do a run through for rare items and stuff. Obviously, I went the wrong fucking way because I'm stupid, but once I get back up here, I should run into a giant totem thingy. The thing that I really love about this game, especially the invasion difficulty mode, is that the game is very much unpredictable. You never really fight the same invasion bosses twice in the same area at any circumstance. So that gigantic rock guy I was fighting earlier, that's the first time I've ever seen him. And it's really neat because it adds an even more replayability to the game. This is one of the very few games that I can always, even if I for some reason decide I get a new game and I just get lost in it, this is one game that I will always be able to come back to and continue playing, because I personally really enjoy the replayability factor that's associated with it. There's so much cool shit you can do. For example, let me kill these guys. I have a skill point to spend, and it'll give you an inkling of just how crazy this game is. This is the skill tree. It's fucking gigantic. You have to scroll around just to see the whole thing. Each one of these circles here, like this, that look like that, are different classes' starting points. Each class has the opportunity to fill out any nodes they want in the tree, but each one starts in a specific place, and each place has more nodes geared towards their intended purpose. For example, this right here is the Templar, and the Templar is kind of like what you could consider a paladin, and you can spec him out for straight up physical melee damage or elemental damage, make him really tanky, things like that. Down here's the Marauder. This is the Duelist. This is the Scion. This is the Ranger. This is the Witch. No, this is the Witch, Herp Derp, and this is the Shadow. He's like an assassin guy. But the cool thing about any of these classes is you're not really locked into a specific role. Oops, I forgot to put my damn point in. Oh, that's nice. I'll get that. They also have one of those that you can fill out and mess around with. They give you all the points available in the game right now. They have one that you can mess around with on their website. So that if you want to pre-build your talent tree and build a character specifically all mapped out with a purpose right away, you can do that. I myself, I play until I hit like level 5 before I put any points in, and then I just decide on the spot what I want to do. Like, I was using Fireball anyways, and I thought it would be cool to make a Fireball Witch. Items in this game all have sockets, and each socket holds a gem, and each gem is a skill or a support gem that buffs skills that they're attached to. Certain items, like right here, have linked sockets. So if I put a red gem in here, and then I put a red support gem, the red gem's effects would also incorporate whatever the support gem was. So right now, with my goal with my witch is to get my fireball spell with a lesser multiple projectiles gem. And what that does is, instead of just shooting one fireball, I'll shoot 3. And as you level it up, you gain more projectiles and such. Because the gems level with your experience gain as well. So that if you're just starting out with a new skill, you can go to a new area and kill everything really, really fast, or a lobby area rather, and kill everything really, really fast. And let me toss that out. Kill everything quite quickly, and you'll level your gems up to accommodate what your character's level is, so that you're doing damage on an equal footing. The game does a really good job at making you feel like you're never in a deficit of power. I always feel quite powerful when I play this game. Unfortunately for me, you have to actually be intelligent and good to progress to the end game in this. So it means you can't just be willy-nilly and build your tree, at least in the harder difficulties. In standard, you can build pretty much however you want and succeed. But in the harder difficulties, if you just build whatever you want, for example, if I took all offensive nodes in the passive tree, then I would probably die and end up in a different, weaker, less difficult league, because defensive nodes play a key role in surviving. You can get your elemental resistances, extra health, extra mana. You can get pretty much everything out of... Yeah, here's that giant totem bastard. You can get pretty much everything out of the skill tree. And most of the really good, high-tier, high-skill players understand how to metagame enough to the point where they get all the damage that they'll need to succeed, and also all of the survivability. Most of your damage in this game comes from the way that you set your skills up and how you build your tree. Obviously, loot is a factor. If you didn't have good items, you would do shitty damage. But most of your damage is going to come from the augmentations that you give it through... Oh, a shrine. Most of your damage is going to come from the augmentations that you give it. I'm going to stop this video here, and I'm going to break it up into more segments so that, you know, it's not a gigantic 1 hour long clumped up mess. But this has just basically been, I did one run through of an area, and I gave you guys a little background and information on the game. If anybody would like to see more Path of Exile, I would be more than willing to continue posting content for this game, because I find it to be absolutely fantastic. So please feel free to let me know. Send me a message, leave a comment, like the video, whatever you feel is necessary to do to send me a message that you would like to see this, or suggest another game and I'll try and get my hands on it and play that too. But please, leave me some feedback. I always appreciate it. I will see you guys next time.